want to see the hotel room.
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Today is July 18th, right? For today, that's a very important day or a very special day for us. So you and I know what it is, but nonetheless, I am Keisha. I'm one half of the host of the Regal Mindset Podcast show. Go ahead, Jay.
And I am Joy, the coach, and I'm the other half of the Regal Mindset show.
Nope. You are the coach, but you also just got elevated, and we want to say congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations to the Apostle Dr. Joy B. Coach Young. Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much. Like, oh my God, I am just. It's been.
I can only imagine, but well-deserved. Congratulations again. I didn't want to continue on into this show without one acknowledging first. Actually, we need to probably back up a couple weeks because you haven't changed or updated your tag at the bottom. You the doctor now.
Yeah, like it's been back to back. So I'm taking it like it's moving.
Yeah. Well, again, well-deserved. Take it. And, as long as we can continue to celebrate you and uplift you and honor you for all of your accomplishments, we say, well done. Keep pushing forward. We are inspired by you and because of you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Listen, my face hurts. I done cried so much. So I probably got a couple of little drops left.
Just a few.
Just a little bit. I think I got a couple more drops left.
Oh man, well listen, no worries. Listen, that's what we're here for, again, just to kind of recap, we are the Regal Mindset Podcast show where we focus on the well-being of the LGBT community. And as a part of that, as a part of that, we also focus on family, finances, mental and physical health, right? And so tonight we got
the whole person, the whole community.
The whole body. We got a wonderful topic tonight, and I'm excited to dive into it.
We do.
It is a part of the family series, right? Last week we had a great show.
So, because I just want our listeners to know that that's it. Got a series.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a delay on my end. But nonetheless, we're going to continue to work through it, and we're going to catch up. So tonight we're talking about what makes me me. Is it nature versus or nature or nurture? So there's a little bit of delay, Jay. I think there was a little glitch. So you back with us?
Yeah, because see, you're glitching on my side. So
okay.
I think we're syncing up now.
Okay. I think
so. Yeah, like with our series on family, it's important for us to explore, especially last week we talked about our chosen family. And then now we're going down the family line and understanding like, okay, what makes me me? What is all the good, the bad of me? Is it something that was created from our chosen family, the family that's out there in the community, or is it from my family, like my mother, my father, my sisters, my brothers? Like, what makes me me?
Yeah. I think it's a great question. It's an age-old question, right? So in doing some research for tonight's show, we've been asking ourselves this for some time.
Right.
And we're going to unpack it tonight. So I would love to hear your thoughts as to what it is that you feel like makes you you.
I think it's a combination of everything, right? Because I know I've said it a lot of times. I didn't have the same experience of coming out and having to find a family that, like how some people come out and they got to go to houses or
Mm,
these groups because their family kicked them out and stuff like that. I never had that experience. So to say that a lot of it is nature, I would say if it's on a percentage, it's probably like a 60-40 for nature versus nurture. I got more nurture than I do nature.
okay. Okay.
And because I didn't have a lot of those experiences that came from outside influence. Mine was always predominantly in-house influence, whether it was church, whether it was just life in general. And so, with the 40% that I would definitely say is, healthy, because
Right.
that nurture wasn't always healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But the part to me, the nature part, I think I'm learning now more than ever because it's things that I've experienced that is what I would say is like more unconditional love
Mm,
and more acceptance, and that you can exist how you ever you want to exist, and the people that you chose or the people that you're around and your community
mm-hmm.
loves you regardless.
Right.
And what about you?
Yeah. So when I first looked into it, initially the first thing that came to mind is in terms of the LGBT community is oftentimes we're asked slightly different in that were you born this way or is this something that
Right,
you chose, right?
right.
So it's kind of almost interchangeable the subject or the context of the conversation tonight. And for me, I can answer that in really easily and say I
Hmm.
was born in this way. There was
Right.
choices I made along the way that were determined based on my surroundings and my upbringing and the people who had influence over me
Hmm.
as a child and young adult. So I was not always true to self in that way for different reasons, right? So I think some people also struggle with that in terms of trying to understand the LGBT community, right?
Right.
They because they don't have a reference or they're not familiar with life and
Hmm.
same gender loving people, they
Hmm.
try to figure out how it is that they can understand our world. And the best way that they can do that is, well, okay, you were either born this way and but you didn't have any choice. Or you chose this, but maybe you're not attractive. I don't know why they always say,
Right. Like, what is
oh,
that?
right, because you ugly, you got to be, oh, you just had to be gay. Like,
No. Like, what? Yeah, we can rock both ends. That's the beauty of it.
listen, there's some beautiful lesbians out here. Let me tell you.
And listen,
Not that I'm looking, but
magnificent.
I've seen some along the way.
Yeah. As we're passing and walk across the street.
Yeah, yeah. They out here in these streets. So, but
But
yeah, I think that's what a lot of straight people do in terms of trying to understand nature versus nurture. Is this something that you can't change, or did you consciously make this choice? And it's up to the individuals because some people will say, that later in life they found themselves for whatever reason and they chose to love someone who is the same gender as them, and there's nothing wrong.
right. Right. And I think they look at it from and I'm again being devil's advocate because in the beginning I used to think that way. I
Okay.
didn't think you could be born this way.
Ah.
And that's because of the deep rooted Jesus life that I had. You know, I
Yeah.
didn't think you could be born this way. I always felt that, okay, because there's no way a 2 year old know who they want to be with. But
Gotcha.
then I had to take a step back and say, we're not looking at it from an emotional standpoint. We're looking at it from a sexual standpoint.
Mm,
And I think a lot of heterosexuals, if they take the sex out of it and look at the person, look how love is so fluid. Love has no gender. Love doesn't have color.
right.
Love is love. And then, so if you look at it from that aspect, then yes, I was born this way
Hmm.
because I was born to love. Now, whoever I ring around the rosy with don't mean anything.
Okay,
So,
Rain.
I mean, that has nothing to do with the love because we've all done had ring around the roses, with different friends, you know.
Yeah.
And so, excuse me. So, with that being said, I do believe now that you are born that way if you're born in the aspect of love
Gotcha.
and you choose who you want to express that love to.
Mm,
Now, I also feel that every gender, I don't care how strong of a man you think you are or strong of the woman you think you are, I do believe that everybody has the ability to pivot. Um, that's just that, especially if it's from a pleasure point. Now, what do you choose? But and I also feel that people who fight it hard enough, you really want to be on the other side either way it go because you're fighting it for too much.
mm.
I think because to I can say for me it was easy.
Okay.
It was easy. It was harder for me to date a guy.
Oh, okay. So are you saying easier to live in it or to acknowledge to others? Because it's two
Both.
different things. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, both. Because like there was guys that liked me and things like that. And I was engaged for what a couple of weeks. I mean, and he was a really good guy.
Yeah.
But there was no drawing. So to say like, oh well, some people like, oh, I'm not lesbian, I'm a man, I want to be with a man. Okay, I don't feel that.
Right.
It was nothing inside of me that said you want a man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I could have, even if I did not choose to be married or be in the same sex relationship, I can really be by myself.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, because it's like it's not that serious to me. But
Yeah.
the partnership that I want just so happens to be in a female.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I would slightly disagree in that for me, I didn't know it was possible younger, and
Mm-hmm.
probably because I didn't see it and I didn't have any references, right? Like I
Right.
think the first person or the first time I saw a same gender loving person, I was 16, right?
Really?
Yeah, I was 16, and only reason I remember is because of where I was. I was in Washington D.C., and there's these two guys are walking across the street, and they were kissing. I was like, "Oh my God, they can't be doing that!" And in my six,
Really?
yeah, in my 16-year-old mind, like this doesn't happen. Like I think I knew it happened behind closed doors, but I wasn't exposed to it
Right.
in public. So I didn't know it exists. So for me as a little kid, I didn't know that I could marry a woman. In my mind,
Hmm.
that never crossed my mind. And
Right.
not until really after the equality or the laws changed where we could legally, right, marry is when I actually considered it. But up until that point, I don't know that I wanted to marry a female. I think a large part of that also, for me, if I'm being honest, is I didn't think I could be happy or successful in business or my career and also be successful in life. I thought that I was going to have to choose one or the other,
Wow.
only because I knew I was going to have to focus a lot on one. I didn't think that I would have the
To do it all.
capacity to do both, right?
I can get
So
that.
that's my difference, right? But
Yeah.
I think both of those worlds do exist in a large part and within the LGBT community.
But it's also most heterosexual parents that try to only show you one way,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's it because now where I lived at in Jacksonville on the back road was Ernestine,
Yeah.
but Ernestine was Ernest back then.
Gotcha.
Now, granted, the transition didn't smooth over because Ernestine looked like Jonetta a little bit, but
Okay.
just smaller. But
Yeah.
she was nice.
Okay.
Now, of course, we couldn't go in our house because we didn't know her family like that. But she could cook,
Oh,
so we knew, like I knew that existed,
yeah.
and I was
Huh.
curious because I'm like, but why? Not in a negative way, but it's like, but why?
Yeah.
Then being around some of my mama friends,
Okay.
she would have held on that they didn't exist, but one or two that came to the house looking like little, like our next week topic. them bulls, and I was like, wait a minute, where you going? You
Woo.
know, so it's
Right.
like I knew it existed, and I wasn't ashamed of it. I was curious because, again, growing up in a very sheltered church life, they never told you anything else existed but
Right.
white Jesus,
Right.
prayer, covered up, and you got to marry a man.
Yeah.
Those were
Yeah.
all things that existed. So seeing it was like, dang, it is out there, but I don't know if I can do it.
Right. Right. Well, I
Because I
think
think that, go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to say, I think that's what families, I don't want to say they're conditioned to, but I think that was during that time, right?
Mhm.
And perhaps you would agree, during that time, that's all that they were comfortable sharing. They were
Right,
going outside of those boundaries was totally foreign.
right. And if they would have been happy, just imagine if they would have been happy. What type of
True.
experiences we could have had to know that there's more life than just this life that was in my home.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
there was happiness because I remember making vows to myself as a kid on the reasons why I wouldn't date a man. It's
Okay.
because I remember telling myself I was a kid and I said, if dating a man makes me leave my children, I don't want to date a man.
Mm,
If dating a man makes me get beat up, I don't want to date a man because this is all what I saw.
okay.
So the desire for that wasn't a healthy desire. Then it wasn't, the best relationship with my dad. So it was like on top of stuff saying, no, I don't even want that world.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, to some people that's listening, that did not make me make my decision.
Right.
But I didn't have a good example on that end. And I didn't have a good example on the gay end either.
Yeah. Well,
Some girl's crazy.
some people in the LGBT community will lean on that trauma informed information, right? Because
Yeah.
this happened is why I'm this way, right?
Right.
Or as a result of that, this is why I like, such
Jackie
and-
Hill Perry.
Yeah.
Jack and just lying. And then but anyway, we had a whole conversation about her.
Yeah.
Larry Reese, he did a live show. Boy, she was a topic. But no,
wow.
that's a lie because I still feel you had choice.
Yeah.
Because you're miserable and it shows that you can't be who you want to be because it's almost like selling your soul. I would say that's like selling your soul to the devil.
Right.
You want acceptance so bad that you couldn't even be free to live your life.
But
Who
here's the
wants
other
that?
right. And I agree with you, right? I agree that 100% exists. I would say that not just your family, you need the support and the family behind you, but also society told us that, right? Society for me in my mind told me I could not have that life, right? It was either whether it was religious,
It's okay.
just make up a word. Whether it was religious based, no, you can't live this life because you're going to hell, or it was, teachers or people just in our village, or I'll speak for myself, in my village that just were not supportive of that. And how many people's lives, like you said, to your point, do you think was affected by that?
I would say a huge number. However, you get to a point where how we got to the chosen family.
Yeah.
However, you get to the point where there's people like that who just really don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like even like half of the preachers that got exposed by their boyfriends, you crying and upset, yeah, because you got caught. But if you was honest, you'll realize nobody really cared.
Yeah.
We really don't care that you're living the life the way you want to. We care now is because all the text messages we saw, and I'm curious. we want to know what happened.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you will realize you'll get to the point where, and I think everybody has that, I want to say defect in them to where they do care more about what people say than what they say. And so when you're going back to the ideal of what makes me me is the ability to be able to trust and listen to myself versus I don't care what you think.
Yeah.
And everybody don't have that strength. And it's hard because it is lonely.
Yeah.
But then you realize there's a group of people that hey, we don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a great point, Jay. I applaud you because you've said to us many times that there was never a period where you had to come out. You just was.
Just was.
And for me, my experience, although different, was not like that, right? I
Mhm.
did care about what people thought. And I certainly cared about what my mother thought, what my grandparents thought, my family, my immediate family thought, my peers, my siblings, I think it does take a certain level of
It does.
bravery, right? To live in your own truth. And it's just better
It
all around.
does.
It's
No,
better.
and I would never argue that. And I know that my experience is not the typical,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't even have like my family dad asks questions, but it's the way you're gonna ask that question. Or you're gonna get everybody through and my whole family would tell you I was mean.
Okay.
I was mean. I always said what I felt, no
Well,
matter
maybe
how
that's why
bad it
they
hurt you.
didn't.
And then if you okay, so because the way and I mean, and maybe it's not maybe it's a part of the way y'all treated me as a young kid. I don't care. Like I can't get your love any other way. So I was never that kid that's gonna beg for your love.
So you
The only
felt
love I
that.
begged for was my mama. Right. And that was it. And even when she found out,
Uh-huh.
I was like, sorry it happened this way.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't the way it was supposed to happen, but I also know my mama ain't dumb. So after you done followed me around the neighborhood and realized I was literally going to the store to get some penny cookies and I wasn't going to see a boy, I think your conversation should have changed. Like, no, she just a fat kid. She ain't going out there to talk to no boy.
Yeah. Well, no,
You
I
know,
think even during that time, the parents would have convinced themselves that it's still not that. Maybe they're just a slow bloomer, late bloomer, whatever it is, whatever term they chose to use. But they would have convinced themselves because that's not what they wanted for us. I truly think a lot of times our parents want us to live a particular way. And when we stray away from that or we're outside of their
it's
boundaries,
disappointing.
absolutely. Now they have to mourn and dismantle everything that they thought they needed or wanted for your life. And you have to stand up again in your truth and live
Mhm.
your own life.
And I'm gonna go out on a limb to say this, and they should mourn
Mm,
because it's not your job to live vicariously through me.
true.
You should raise your. Oh, I know we talked about the Bible today, but you train a child in the way they should go. My job as a parent is not, and I had to learn this too because I
Okay.
know my daughter, she gonna wear a white coat because I didn't get a chance to wear a white coat, so she gonna wear the white. And I still got that. I'm holding on to it, but I also am open enough to whatever she
Okay.
decides to be that I can support that as long as it's healthy. And
Yeah.
I did my job to make sure that you felt comfortable in existing as my child,
Gotcha.
and I support that. It's a possibility my baby might cut her hair off and come in with sagging pants, and I'm gonna have a whole fit, but I'm going to accept it.
Okay.
Look, and I put that hair together. No, and it's gonna hurt, but at the end of the day, I've come to that, and Shay says it all the time because I had in my mind this is what she was going to
Yeah.
be, and I understand your perspective. Parents have this idea, but my life is not your idea. Your life,
Mm,
your job is to equip me to live in a life, because if they ever really realize things change and what was good for you, as in I think we talked about this before, they may have only went to a certain level of school, so then they made sure that they push you to the next level of school.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or even in the workforce, they were yes sir, yes ma'am, keep your head down. No, you should be like, it's going to be a time where you can stand up on your own, but I want to make you so safe and secure to be able to voice your opinion that when you're in those spaces it will come out right.
Yeah. And I love that too. I love that you have an idea and you kind of nurture that, but you also leave space enough for her to
Mm-hmm.
mature into what it is she wants to so that you can support her in that. And I think that attitude, that mindset, even myself and in our household, we've never discouraged, any of the kids from loving who they desire to love. And I think because of that, they're now, this next generation coming after us, are more comfortable to walk in their truth without
Right.
without all the headaches and all the society looking at them a particular way, without all the trauma that's attached to them making certain decisions about who they choose to love, how they choose to love, what their family structure will look like. And that is all of us. So if we've done
Right.
nothing else, I think our generation has done a great job in that.
So with nature versus nurture,
Yep.
piggybacking off what you said, would you agree or disagree that our parents and the parents before that tried to nurture us more versus now we're allowing nature and nurture to exist? Because it's like you're going to have that experience. Now, there's
Right.
certain experiences I never want you to have, and I'm going to do my best to protect you from it. But you're getting fired from your first job. You're going to have that experience. You're getting
Hmm.
your heart broken. You're going to have those experiences. That's a nature experience. But as your nurturer is to help you understand and deal with it and know you're going to bounce back. It hurts, but you're going to bounce back.
Right. To answer your question, I think our parents and generations prior to, all they knew was to nurture in the sense of
Mm-hmm.
setting a particular environment, a particular way of life that they introduce or they have for us, and to even kind of model after. So, in some
Right.
ways, in certain experiences that they had, they taught us based on their lessons that they learned. So,
Right.
from a nurturing standpoint, I think is what and how they parented.
Right.
And because we see the value in both, and they can both exist at the same time and still be true,
Right.
right? There's
Right.
certain things and values that we teach our kids that I think are necessary in order for them to carry on through the young adult into
Mm-hmm.
early or full adulthood. And then there's things that they need to learn about themselves, and that's nature's course, right? They're
Right.
going to figure those things out in those various phases or seasons of life. And there's lessons that we can advise them on or kind of help them through, but ultimately
Mhm.
they have to take the realm or take the helm and drive their own vehicle.
So, saying that,
Yeah.
this is part B.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it would be different if we were bio moms? Because we have a different perspective, both of us.
Gotcha.
We don't
Yep.
have biological children,
Gotcha.
but we also saw our wives and the way they deal totally different than the way we would deal.
Sure, sure, sure. And that's a really good question. I think we probably should have more conversations around that, right?
Yeah.
And I say that based on this one experience. Like a few weeks ago, one of the kids, adult kid who has kids, she says to me, "I don't know why you asking her, Keisha, and she's never had any kids." And I said to her, "Because I've not had any kids don't mean that I don't know how to raise a kid, right?
Right.
Doesn't mean that I don't know what's right or wrong for this kid. Doesn't
Right.
mean that I can't offer guidance or be an active participant in this kid's
Mhm.
village, right? That's
Right.
one. And so from that perspective, I was once a kid. So in order to get an adult, you got to go through some stuff.
Right. You got to
So
grow
there's
up.
some lessons that I can impart upon you and this kid that I feel like would be beneficial and helpful.
Right.
So to say or use that word or to use, well, you
Mhm.
never had any kids, so you
Why
don't
does it
know.
matter? If
Right. I
is
don't
it
think
the
it
feeling
does.
going to be different because I pushed them out or got them cut out, however they got there?
I think in their minds, the biological mom, yes, that is what they think. Because they have a
More
genetic
connection.
relationship with
Got it.
them.
Hmm.
And I think in a large part it's because it's part of their DNA. And some of it, half of it's them. They kind of have an idea of what's going to happen, right? Whether it's good, bad, or at least they know their kids. Like they'll always say, "I know my kid." I know my kid
Right.
did this or they didn't do that. Whereas we don't have that connection, genetically or
Right.
not. However, what about those parents who are foster parents? What about those parents?
Right.
First of all, good foster parents. We ain't
Yeah.
gonna talk
Good
about the
ones.
ones that we need to send up there under the jail. We ain't talking about them.
Exactly.
Or the parents who actually adopt because for whatever reason they either they can't or they choose not to. Are they
Right.
any less of a parent or a mom? No.
Right. And now, of course, my wife in the background is saying, yes, it is the difference.
Mm-hmm.
I would still argue no, only because I, my godson, who I took in when he was 6 months, I would love him as if he came from my own ovary, whichever one, the left or the right. I when he cry, it hurts, it touches me and hurts me
Sure.
because I can't get to him quick enough.
Mm-hmm.
One, I got to figure out why my son crying, and I'm ready to
Yeah.
go snap.
Yeah.
And I feel that way about all the kids. Now, is it easier for me to not be as emotional and
Invested.
sympathetic?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because no, I don't feel it's like, no, I still see it this way.
Yeah.
Versus, well, we got to do no, I will still do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know it's a lot to be like, oh no, you wouldn't do. No, I probably would.
Yeah.
Like, the same 3 strikes you get is the same 3 strikes my Abby would get.
Yeah.
I might just push her down on the floor with the 3rd strike because she mine.
No kids and or adults were harmed.
That was hurt.
Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, there was not, because I would probably be more hurt because she's mine, and I had more time with you than I would by the other children.
I see.
I don't have that expectation, but I have the expectation you might not be bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, but I got more invested in you.
Gotcha. I got you. No, and I get that too. I think it is just, I don't want to say immature. I just say it's a little disappointing when people assume that we don't have I'll say experience. We don't have the level of experience that sometimes the biological mother feels as though we should have, having not birthed. That just was not my ministry. I'm just,
listen.
You knew that when you met me. Like, come on now.
You're like, you knew it wasn't happening. Like, I know. And I get, and it's not meant for everybody. And like you said, it's some that just absolutely cannot have it, but that doesn't mean they don't have the ability to nurture. I think people who do not have children but accept the child, whether it's by adoption, by relationship, by marriage, has more of the ability because you're willingly coming in there to do it. And that takes a special kind of person.
Okay, I 100% agree. And then I'm going to add something to that.
Yeah, better add it.
Listen, even though someone chooses to be in your life where the other parental figure chooses not to, says something about that one.
Exactly, because they're willing to navigate the unknown with you.
And
you
the
don't know what's
expenses that
happening
come with it.
Listen, because you listen.
Okay, that's a whole nother show, man.
That's a whole nother show. So I think credit is due, especially when and again for adoptive parents, you're literally saying, I want to be so responsible for this child that they would never feel that gap of emptiness of, that we can't heal the emotional gap they may feel because their biological parent isn't there. But I can do my best to make sure that you always feel wanted and that you feel, worthy in your existence, because abandonment is real.
Yeah.
A lot, you feel it in the womb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Them kids know when you didn't want them. That's why when people be posting, my baby, you know good well you ain't want that baby. Don't.
Ooh,
and I stand by that. I be like, good well you did not want that child. But now they're 18. My baby graduated. You've been the love of my life. No, they didn't. You did not want that child. You wanted the daddy, and the daddy didn't stay, and you got stuck.
Now that's a good man. Listen, that's gonna segue into the next question, man. The trauma around. Let's start with that. When the mother and the donor are no longer together, the trauma that that comes with that, right? Maybe there's some instances of abandonment. Maybe there's some instances of
Rejection.
molestation. Absolutely. Maybe there's some instances of um just a host of traumatic events that
Hmm.
happen, and because of the dynamics of that family, now they're at a place where in life they're choosing who they love, and because of those traumas they have to unpack how it is they feel whether about this gender, right? This man left me.
Hmm.
I've never had any good relationships with men, so I'm just going to date women.
Right.
That boils my,
Like, no, no. Go over
but
there
it
with your ugly
happened.
self.
Yeah,
Yeah, like going over there with your ugly self.
yeah, yeah. Or it's the and I've had a whole lot of bad relationships with
So
men.
let me give this a try.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing to
Listen.
say.
Yeah.
Because I can, because somebody had said a question that one of their deal breakers was like a woman with a lot of kids,
Uh-huh.
and both of us married women that had children,
Uh-huh.
and so I can speak for my predicament. Is my wife was married to their fathers,
Mhm.
and you got the children. So okay, that's one of those. You on a case by case basis, you have to
Right.
determine it, because I do have a problem with women who, you know, you 15 kids in, and all of a sudden now, like you said, they didn't work out. You want this?
Yeah.
No. Now, if you saying, listen, I was bisexual, but my family that happens, and
Mhm.
you wasn't able to live your truth. But
Mhm.
then at some point, you should have just said
I
and
don't know if
stop.
it takes 15 kids, yeah.
Yeah, but it amazes me how, and especially, and a lot of them go get them younger studs too,
Mhm.
because we see them fighting at the hotel, and they always on TikTok and stuff like that fighting, because you just want help. you don't want no relationship. You just want help. You need a
Yeah.
babysitter. That's
Okay.
what you want. You want a babysitter. But no, every situation is different. And I don't think that some of them may have always had that feeling that same sex was their thing, but they couldn't do it.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people they couldn't, or
Mhm.
they would make grandma mad. They would be disassociated. Some people are hinged on how my family feels.
Absolutely.
I knew a young lady, she couldn't have her truth because, oh, well, thank you so much. So she couldn't live in her truth because her mama wanted her with the man.
Mm.
And her mom was like, well, I'm not giving you this money for a down payment on a house if you're going to be with a woman. So she hid all that till her mom gave her that money.
Yeah, yeah,
And she still had. But,
yeah.
it is what it is.
Well, here's another question. What about those countries and cultures that frown upon gender loving relationships? And certainly they exist, right? I believe they exist in all cultures.
Mhm.
And for whatever reason, like I'm thinking of the Middle East particularly, and oftentimes still today, they arrange their marriages. And because of their beliefs, they're not always able to live the life that they see for themselves. What I would hope that happens in those instances as uh, somehow, some way, they have enough courage to, whether it's disassociate with their families
Mhm.
so that they can live in their authentic life, or find something else. I don't know what that's like because I'm not lived that, but it really pains me to have to see that.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I ain't gonna lie. If I had to have an arranged marriage and get a trust fund where I ain't have to work for the rest of my life,
Sign
arrange
you
me.
up.
Arrange me. We'll just have an understanding of what we're gonna do. Arrange me. But
Well, that's a
I
thought.
understand what you're saying. However, it ain't just those cultures. This
Right.
has been going on
Yeah.
for centuries.
Yeah.
In the Bible, when who was told him go get my son a wife, but don't go here and get her. Don't go. These was ranked in kingdoms. They arranged these marriages for the strengthening of their kingdom.
Yeah.
So typically it was political.
Okay.
And majority of these families, especially in the Indian culture, is because this family got money, this family got money.
Yeah.
So we're both gonna have, and the son, because the one that just recently got married, he's the richest. Because I can't, I'm gonna find his dad, but he got money in everything. He is so wealthy, but his son is like, he looks like Barney, and he got a little skinny wife. She gonna take that L for that money. I don't care. She took that L because there's no way that I'm looking at these knock knees for the rest of my life unless it got a price tag on it. And she gonna give him a baby too. I know she gonna give him at least 3 babies.
Yeah.
And when I seen it, it's like that is a financial decision. And I would, because you're gonna pay me. You're gonna pay me. So we have to look at it like it's common in white people.
Yeah.
It's common, especially in our politics. I remember Bill Clinton made a statement. The woman he wanted, his family said, that's not the woman you're marrying. You marrying Hillary. Hillary wasn't the prettiest, but her pockets was deeper than the Clintons. It still is. She came from a very prominent family, and look who he married. John F. Kennedy would not have been the president if he would have married Marilyn Monroe.
Okay.
But who was the love of his life? Happy birthday, Mr. President. So we see it all day.
True.
And I'm going to bring this one, even with Trump. Now, granted, the women he had children with, because he was trying to, believe it or not, he was trying to create a beautiful child. He has said that multiple times. And the only child he looks at as beautiful is Ivanka and Barron. He then said nothing about them other kids in the middle. Ivanka, I remember he took modeling pictures with her, both of them, and it was real creepy. So people do it because marriage is it's not about love. It's literally about a partnership, an arrangement. And if we really was honest, it's like, did I marry you? I could have loved you without going to get married. But because I love you and I want to share this, we don't have a prenup. Well, we can get a postnup. But because
I think I heard something in the background.
You heard it right. But it's like when people get married for love, it don't always pan out the way. They're like, no, I'm gonna marry for money and I can learn to love this person. I can just like them for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It's not about emotions. And I think we make marriage about emotion.
Yeah.
We make it. No, it's like it's a partnership. You bring this, I bring this, we're gonna do this thing. We're better together.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. And also, if from my experience also, I have a lot of elder people who are in the same gender loving. Excuse me. And a lot of them either don't necessarily see the need or purpose behind getting married. They'd much rather be that person's partner, significant other, until they roll over and die. And that's how they enjoy living their life. They don't have to share finances. They don't have to share even the same house, right? But that is, I think, also because of the era in which they grew up, and it was not welcomed or as open as it is today, and they've just continued along that path because that's what works for them.
Exactly. And I'm gonna bring a heterosexual couple in this. Oprah said it. She said, I would not be the person I am if I would have married Stedman.
Yeah.
And that was enough said for me.
Yeah.
Because what if that person is the one keeping you from progressing and being the best you can? Because they was never meant to go there with you. Or they have their own dreams that y'all are not walking together with. So you have to evaluate all of that.
Sure.
And, especially in the LGBTQIA community, I say community, we always want love wins because we're trying to show the world we can do it too.
Yeah.
But how many of our friends got divorced?
I know quite a few. Yeah.
And not just that, you done broke up. It was a nasty breakup. And I'm going to somebody might be mad at me about this, and that's fine. Even when people cross into our organization, they don't ever come over with the person he was with.
That's true. That's true.
So with that being said, we don't have the, how I'm gonna say this, the older generation in the LGBTQIA, they have 30 years in with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the ability to be able to get married on paper and it to be recognized is a win for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have it at any given point in time, we just do it just to be doing it.
I can see
I
that.
don't think we take it as significant. We didn't have to get holes down to fight for those freedoms. So those experiences were not our experiences. So that's why we don't take it. That's why they don't go vote, because they don't know what it took to go vote.
Yes. That part. Yeah. So Sai says that marriage for some people is to make sure that their partners aren't left out in terms of beneficiaries, which is true. That is also true too. And they have a certain level of rights and benefits, as you mentioned. Or there's children that are involved and they want both parents to have the rights in the event that the partner passes. Absolutely true.
And even though I love my wife, but that was the big reason, because I have a very dominant family. They will come in and take everything. But I needed to make sure that this person, if we built this life, you still have right to this life. If I go before you. And you're protected. Absolutely. Same thing with our daughter. Yes, we were legally married. We are legally married in a state that is recognized. But on her birth certificate, it says mother, father. So I'm trying to think ahead. What if something happens to where she has to get my Social Security benefits? I don't need nobody to have to fight because I'm listed as the father. So we took it the next step and went in, for the A paper, and everything like that, just to make sure that she could still get every benefit possible. So, I mean, I get that.
That's a good point, because a lot of people are watching this or may watch this and not realize that that's even an option, right? And like you said, because it says, again, these traditional ways and values in which family is structured in the U.S., it says mother and father. There's no other possibility.
And don't say parent and parent. And then the state will fight you on anything with any technicality. So you have to protect yourself. And like Sai said, you don't want to be getting buried. She didn't say this part, but I'm saying it's a she.
Yeah, she.
Okay, she didn't say this part, but I'm relating it to it. You don't want to be put in a dress in your casket because the wrong person made it. I'm coming back.
Listen, I'm
coming back.
Every dream.
I'm sitting up in the middle, because what we ain't gonna do, I'm not going in this. Change my clothes. Change my clothes, because I am going to have a wardrobe change at my funeral. I already know that. I already thought it out. I want two. I want you to see me at the wake in one, and I want you to see me in the final in another.
So you're the apostle. You can have what you want.
Don't do that. But no, and I think that's where we take the seriousness out of marriage. We want to get married because we U-Haul and I'm gonna marry her. I'm gonna do this, and you ain't even got a Indigo credit card. Like you can't you can't even put your name on a piece of plastic. But you out there, you can't even get an apartment in your name. What are we doing? Playing house? That should be criteria. Have you lived this part of your life yet to even say you're an adult enough to make this decision, or you just want to marry her because it's just good for lesbos to get married?
Well, and honestly, I think that you got to look at also the person who's marrying them, right? Because they have to look at that. They have to want better too, right? In terms of their life. I would say that I think a lot of times young people, right? They see particular families or cultures and relationships, and they'll say relationship goals, right? And not knowing, what's behind that curtain, not knowing, what those two people or those two individuals argue, fight about, how they argue and fight, right? Yet they're making assumptions about what it is they want to model their relationship or their marriage or their whatever after, right? Which is totally the wrong thing to do. You cannot compare yourself to someone else's life, right? But I will say that I do think there's some people in the world, especially in the LGBTQ community, who do set good examples, right? Whether it's
Hmm.
positive, negative, or what have you. And there are some LGBTQ couples who do separate in good manner, right? In good
Hmm.
healthy in a healthy way, right? Hey,
Right.
our relationship just didn't work out, right? It's not always that they're on social media, they're throwing things out the window,
Hmm. Yeah.
acting all irate, and the
Killing
girl
each other.
right. So there are some instances where there is positive references, right? I just think, we should think about the choices and the decisions that we make
Mhm.
a little bit longer, especially because we have the mentality oftentimes of U-hauling, and that U-haul will take us right on down to the altar and have us across from somebody else, and we don't really even know that person.
And that's nature because they see it, like you said, they see
Yeah.
it out there, and I want that, so I'm going to jump in this, knowing good well, what mine ain't going to be yours.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
not. And then some of it could be nurture because some people like, well, my parents was together 30 years and I want that. But you ain't hear your parents going at it.
Mm-hmm.
They made sure you were shielded. Should couples counseling be? I absolutely say
Yeah.
yes.
For
And
LGBT
we,
and
yeah, everybody.
yeah.
I know we didn't do it. And I think it would have helped because we had a lot to get over that,
Okay.
and we didn't talk about it. And I think with couples counseling, do you bring in that person that can help you hear both sides? Because when you're trying to get your point, the other person trying to get their point, whether
Mm-hmm.
you saying it the same thing at all, you still ain't hearing it.
Right.
So what about you? Do you think it should be a requirement?
I do think it should be a requirement. I think there needs to be more of it. And that goes back to the part of who's supporting us and who's our
Hmm.
allies in the terms of the LGBT space. I'm
Right.
sure that they're out there. My wife and I, we had a destination wedding. So we had to go from Ohio to Florida
Mm-hmm.
to get married, right? And then we did our honeymoon and then we came back. We did counseling throughout our marriage, right? There's
Hmm.
sometimes, and I think that's also necessary, even if you get
Yeah.
premarital counseling. I think that there's always a time where you should, not that you have to stay on their calendar, but at least revisit,
Checkups and
a
stuff like
therapy.
that.
Absolutely. Periodically just checking in with one another and checking in on the marriage as a whole, right? Is
Hmm.
this both serving us, right? Is this partnership any value to us as a unit, or would we be better as individuals apart? And then if that's the case, then how do we do that, right?
Right.
Because you have had love for this person, you want to do that in the most respectful and loving way. Now, there are, like we said, in some instances where people, they no longer love each other.
Right.
They don't care what you think, right? And then they're going to move in that direction in which they want. But yes, I think premarital,
Pre and post.
yes, are both a good thing to have.
Yeah,
As
because
far,
when you're doing premarital, it's like you're introducing a lot to each other, but you're still in that love stage.
right.
So then you're gonna accept a lot of things. But post, oh no, I'm not with that. Well, you ain't say that before. You know what? I should have said that because I'm not with it.
Yeah.
That is a deal breaker.
Yeah.
And then instead of you being able to voice it, you literally get angry and start resenting the other person because you expect them to know. And you just don't have it, you don't know how. And like Sai said, the underlying unhealed trauma, learning love languages, communication styles. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Because when we meet somebody like, what do you like? Oh, I like to go to the movies. I want to go to. I like to do that too. No, good and well. You don't like to go to no matinee.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But that's a part of dating, I think.
I think it's a part of dating, but that's
Yeah.
where the festivities come in.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
like, when me and my wife was dating,
Uh-huh.
she liked musicals. I don't want to hear all of that. Like,
Okay.
say what you say, you ain't got to sing it to me. And as much as I love Tyler Perry, I don't want to you sing half of the play. I hate it. But because she wanted, I'm
Right.
there
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
like this. And then
Yeah.
so it's like, and then with her learning me, she she would hear me like if I said, I love Jill Scott.
Yeah.
Oh, she made sure she got me Jill Scott tickets.
Uh-huh.
She just knew she was happy about them Jill Scott tickets. She didn't know I don't like her music. I like her. And that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
she's doing her best to be happy with me. And I'm like,
Sure.
no, I just like her boobs. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, what song is that? I ain't heard since her first album. Let's take a long walk. I don't know what else after that other than Lizelle and E flat.
Yeah.
She got any other music? Like I'm looking at it like that. So
Yeah.
you not visiting all of that. And then when
Yeah.
they find out the real you, and you like, no, I really don't like that.
Yeah.
I ate it because you fixed it.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
gagged all the way home. Like, don't fix it no more.
Right. Well, and for me, I think that's a part of loving and learning your partner, right? Which is
Mhm.
also, imperative, especially if you're building a family with one another. You don't want to come into an arranged situation, or not even
Mhm.
arranged, into a partnership or a marriage, and you can't get past the musicals, right? Or that's a deal
It's
breaker
a
for you.
lot.
Or
It's a lot.
listen, okay, I can do musicals, but I don't want to do them every month,
Right.
But that's a way of compromise that both of you guys can be able to come together and decide, right? My wife does not want anything to do with Mariah Carey. Listen, I get that.
Listen.
She in her own feelings. She's still, listen, we still together. She gonna
Yeah.
always be my baby. You know what I'm saying?
Be my baby.
But okay, listen.
Yeah.
That's just what it is,
It is. You got to accept her. You accept me.
Yeah,
That's just
yeah.
that.
And
We
there's
came.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
100%
that's.
agree.
But and I like again, you need those checkups
Yep.
because you should never stay the same in a relationship. You should be growing or going. This is one of the
Yeah.
two. We're not growing together. We need to figure out why if we're going to work this out together. Are we, because there are people that transition and transgender in relationships, and they don't take in consideration that their partner don't always transition with them.
Okay.
They love them, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to support you, but I don't want to be, what you want me to be to
Yeah.
make you feel validated.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of those relationships break up because I didn't want to be that. Just because you want to identify as a man now because you no longer want to you transitioning, that doesn't make me cisgender. That makes me still what I like.
Mm-hmm.
I just so happen to love you and I'm with you,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to change who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some women that will change. And I think sometimes that's selfish because
Wow.
because if you expect, well, maybe I should have said this first. If you expect that person to automatically change with you when that's
Just
not
because they
their
love you.
change, just because they love, I think
Okay.
that is selfish. And
Oh.
especially, because it's an expectation
Okay. Okay. I got you.
versus saying, okay, I'm going through this.
Uh-huh.
This is what I'm doing. This is the change that I'm making in my life. One,
Uh-huh.
how do you feel? Two, is it something that you can deal with? Because I don't want to be seen as a female anymore. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be seen as this. Are you comfortable with that?
So give them a
If
choice.
give them a choice and let them express how they feel. Just because they love you, that doesn't mean it doesn't affect them.
Yeah.
Because what does that look like when you don't want me to touch you how two women touch each other?
Yeah.
Because you want it a certain way now.
Yeah.
And them testosterone people, they are angry.
Testosterone.
They
Yeah.
are angry. They're mood. That's what it does.
Yeah. I've heard
And that's
that.
a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
So again, what makes me me? You have to really know yourself
Yeah.
and be able to identify the good, the bad, what you need to change.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in flaws and all. No, because there's certain things you can change.
Okay.
Now, if you came here with a club foot, that's a flaw we can't change. But your attitude, you can change.
For sure.
So
For
I
sure.
don't do it. And me and Shay used to get into that about you just don't accept me. I do, but I don't accept that. I don't want it.
That's a good point.
But I don't believe in flaws and all. So when you say what makes me me, and then you're doing it while you're single and you're going through healing and transformation while you're single, you have to make sure it's not from a trauma response, a
Yes.
defense mechanism, because when you get to the new person, you can't say that's just the way I am. Well, I don't want that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
And I think Iyanla said that. She said she broke off like a 14-year relationship. She said, because I can't take the way you love me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's big.
Mm-hmm. That's a
And
form
we
of
know
self-love.
that's a self-love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. I got one last question I want to ask, right?
Mhm.
And you may have kind of answered it, right? Do we get to choose or overwrite one or the other, right? Does it have to be both? Does it have to be one or the other? Return in terms of nature or nurture?
Personally,
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to have balance.
Okay.
I think you do need to have balance, because if it's all nurture, then you don't know what life is, because you
Mm-hmm.
haven't had anything outside to give you an experience. But then if you had all experience and you don't know what a mother feels like,
Mm-hmm.
what a sister feels like, you don't know these things that are typically nurtured. Are you really able to tap into somebody's emotions? So I feel like you need both.
Yeah.
You need both of them for
Yeah.
me. What about you?
I would agree that I think a balance of both is good and both relative. And I will
Hmm.
also say it also in choosing to partner with someone else, it's important to know who it is that you are first, right? Before you
Good.
get into a relationship with someone else. Know who you are, right?
Right.
Know the things you like, know the things you don't like, right? Yes, there's some new things that may come up that this person does that you've not experienced before. And
Hmm.
it's okay to share with that person. That's never happened to me, and I don't know how I feel about it, or I don't like it, or I just need some time to process, to see how I feel about it. That is okay. But to know wholeheartedly who you are. Now, I say that with also the understanding that because we evolve as people,
Hmm.
the person I am today is not the same person I was 15 years ago, right? I don't know
Right.
that my wife would have been attracted to me 15 years ago. And if I'm also being honest, I don't know that I would have been attracted to her 15 years ago.
Right. Right. Right.
But I knew who I was when I met her, right?
Yeah.
And that's only because of all the things and that took place in my life that led me up until that point.
Right.
So it's not, I don't want people to walk away from this episode thinking that there's not some internal work that we have to do, right? We
Hmm.
can't just keep going out around from relationship to relationship and not understanding who we are as individuals before we go connect with someone else.
Exactly. Because you're looking for them to fulfill something that you
Yeah.
don't even know. It's it's almost like the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
You're literally going to relationship thinking you're going to get something different. And then and us lesbians always want to bring up, well, my ex didn't do this. Okay, well, you didn't do it either.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might be the ex that you're talking about because you the one did it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
kill that. And like
Yeah.
you said, we have to mature and realize you grow, and you need to evaluate yourself. And that's why you got to have good friends.
Yeah.
Because then you can go to that friend and say, am I tripping? Is it me? And they be like, yeah, that's you. You're like, you know what? You might be right.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm the problem.
Yeah.
And that's
Absolutely.
it. Because if you don't, that's that nurture part. That's not nature. A true friend that can help you see yourself, to me, that's a nurture, not a nature.
Yeah.
So whether it's chosen or not. So yeah, like you said, you got to be whole and healthy. Because I don't even, and I'm gonna say this, and I know we're wrapping it up. I don't feel that a person makes you whole.
Mm. An external person, another person.
An external person.
Okay.
So a lot of people talk about, oh, you making me whole. No, you should be whole when you get there. Because at some point it's not 50-50. It's 100-100. And it's going to be times where I'm coming in at 60 and you may need to be 140. But it shouldn't always be that way. But you should always be 100. If you did the work, if you've done what you need to do. We can't do that 50-50 thing. No, I'm 100 because I'm giving you everything I got.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's lacking on something, but I'm literally giving you everything I got.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good.
So
Okay. Well, listen, so I think we answered it. What makes me
yeah,
me? Nurture versus nature. And if you guys have any questions, certainly we would love to hear about it. Just drop a comment below or hit us in our inbox. Next week, we got a great show. We have
yeah.
Tony Young, the Bulldogger Chronicle. So we would
Mm-hmm.
love to have y'all participation in your comments and conversations for next week so we can unpack what the term bulldagger actually means and
Man, because it
stems
that's
from.
triggering.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, for a lot of people, I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a trigger.
yeah, yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. But yeah, absolutely. We've got another episode that we aired or that we did last week. We recorded it, but it's in the editing process. So we're going to get that out to you as soon as
Mhm.
possible. Again, that's a part of our family series. And as always, we want to encourage everybody to keep a regal mindset and stay tuned. And we'll see y'all next week.